His Excellency, the Ambassador of India, has arrived in the courtyard and he would be offering floral tributes to the statue of the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. His Excellency would be unfurling the flag now. I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem.
जन मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा नव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गावे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद।
Please. Good morning once again, everyone. On behalf of the Embassy of India, Kuwait, I warmly welcome all of you to the 72nd Republic Day celebrations of India. May I now request our Honorable Ambassador of India to Kuwait, His Excellency Shri C.B. George, to kindly come on stage and read out our Honorable Rashtrapati Ji's speech and also deliver his own remarks on the occasion. Sir.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Republic Day. I will now read out the address by the Honorable President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind, on the eve of the 72nd Republic Day delivered last night. मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, नमस्कार। विश्व के सबसे बड़े और जीवंत लोकतंत्र के आप सभी नागरिकों को देश के 72वें गणतंत्र दिवस की पूर्व संध्या पर हार्दिक बधाई। Dear fellow citizens, Namaskar. Greetings to all of you on the eve of the 72nd Republic Day of the world's largest and most vibrant democracy. In this land of ours, enriched by diversity, with many festivals, our national festivals are celebrated by everyone with great patriotic fervor. We celebrate the National Festival of the Republic Day with enthusiasm and express our respect for the national flag and our faith in the Constitution. This day has come to mean a lot to all Indians living within the country and abroad. 71 years ago, on this very day, we, the people of India, adopted, enacted, and gave to ourselves a unique constitution. For all of us, then, this is the day to also pause and ponder over the core values that the Constitution propounds. These values, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, outlined in the preamble of our Constitution, are sacred to all of us. Its abiding adherence is meant not only for those who are mandated to govern, but for the people at large. It is not without reason that the wise men and women who framed the Constitution chose to place these 4 terms at the very beginning of the Constitution to build a foundation on which the edifice of our democracy rests. In fact, these were the values that guided our freedom struggle. A galaxy of great leaders and thinkers like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Mahatma Gandhi, and Subhash Chandra Bose inspired our freedom struggle. They had diverse dreams of a magnificent future of the motherland, but common to their aspirations were these values: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. I would like that we go further back into history and inquire why precisely these values guided our nation builders. And the answer is obvious. This land and its inhabitants have cherished these ideals from the time immemorial. Justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity are perennial principles of our philosophy of life. They come to us from the dawn of this civilization through an unbroken chain. It is, of course, the task of every generation to seek out the meaning of these values for its times. As the freedom fighters did in their day, so should we in our time. These key principles should light our path to development. Dear fellow citizens, every Indian salutes our farmers who have made our vast, populous country self-reliant in food grains and dairy products. Despite adversities of nature, numerous other challenges, and the COVID-19 pandemic, our farmers sustained the agriculture production. A grateful nation is fully committed to the welfare of our farmers. Just as our hardworking farmers ensure food security for the country, The brave soldiers of the armed forces ensure security of our national boundaries amid severest conditions. From the freezing cold at Siachen and Galwan Valley in Ladakh, with the temperatures as low as minus 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, to the scorching heat in Jaisalmer with temperatures as high as 50 degrees Celsius, on land, in the skies, and at the vast coastal areas, our warriors are vigilant every moment. Every citizen feels proud about the bravery, patriotism, and the spirit of sacrifice among our soldiers. By their contribution to food security, national security, protection against disease and disasters, and to different areas of development, our scientists have strengthened our national endeavors. From space to the farms, from educational institutions to hospitals, the community of scientists has enriched our life and work. Our scientists have been working day and night for decoding the coronavirus, and they have succeeded in developing the vaccine in record time. With this accomplishment, our scientists have added a glorious chapter of contribution to the well-being of humanity. Our scientists, along with the doctors, administrators, and people from other walks of life, have made major contribution in containing the virus and keeping the fatality rate lower in our country compared to that in developed countries. Thus, all our farmers, soldiers, and scientists deserve special appreciation, and a grateful nation greets them on this auspicious occasion of the Republic Day. Dear fellow citizens, last year, as humanity almost came to a halt in the face of a calamity of gigantic proportions, I often but found myself reflecting on the central message of the Constitution. Our effective response to the pandemic would not have been possible without our constitutional value of fraternity. Indians have been like a close-knit family, making exemplary sacrifices to protect each other in the face of the common enemy of coronavirus. I am thinking here of doctors, nurses, paramedics, healthcare administrators, and sanitation workers who put their own lives at risk to care for COVID-19 patients. Some of them even lost their lives. Along with them, about 1 lakh people became victims of this pandemic. I convey my condolences to the bereaved families. Our frontline corona warriors were ordinary citizens who turned out to be extraordinary. When the history of this tragic chapter, which is not yet over, is written, I am confident that the future generations will behold you all for the heroic response to the crisis for which no one could have truly prepared. Given our country's population density, diversity of cultural traditions, natural and geographical challenges, taking precautionary measures against COVID-19 was far more difficult for us. Yet, we have managed to check the spread of the virus to a large extent. Despite the serious calamity, we have succeeded in taking forward our activities in many spheres. The pandemic threatened to derail the young generation's learning process, but institutions and teachers quickly adopted new technology and ensured that there was no break in education. By conducting not only free and fair but also safe elections in Bihar, which has high population density, and in union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, with the difficulties of access and other challenges, our democracy and the Election Commission have accomplished remarkable feats. The judiciary found help in technology and continued to function and dispense justice. The list is long. In order to open up the economy without risking the lives of the people, the process of unlocking was carefully calibrated. This has proved effective, and the economy has started showing indications of recovery faster than anticipated. The latest unprecedented collection of GST and India's emergence as a most favored destination for the foreign investment are indicative of our faster economic recovery. The government has encouraged small and medium industries to unleash entrepreneurial spirit by providing easy loans to them and help them to come up with innovative business ideas. Dear fellow citizens, The adversities of the previous year have only reminded us of what we have always known deep in our hearts, that care and concern for humanity and a feeling of fraternity is what kept us together for millennia. In every sphere, Indians rose to the occasion and put others before themselves. We Indians live and die for humanity. This Indian ideal has been expressed by the great poet Maithili Sharan Gupta in his words. In English, these sentiments can be broadly conveyed in the following words. It is the benevolent whose glory lives on in songs eternal. It is the generous whom the world reveres forever, whose spirit of oneness fills the boundless universe. They truly are human who die for fellow beings. I am sure that this love for humanity and the spirit of sacrifice will take us to great heights. Let us look at 2020 as a year of learning. There were miracles of a revitalizing Mother Nature which taught humanity a hard lesson that small is not expedient but complementary to the big. I am sure that with a view to reducing the risk of such pandemics, the issue of climate change will be accorded top priority at the global level. Dear fellow citizens, converting a crisis into an opportunity, the Prime Minister gave a call of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, or Self-Reliant India Mission. Our vibrant democracy, our enterprising and talented fellow citizens, especially the youth, energized our efforts in shaping a self-reliant India. The demand for goods and services in the country, the domestic efforts to meet them, and the use of modern technology in such efforts are strengthening Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, under this mission, steps have been taken for economic growth as well as employment generation by promoting micro, small and medium enterprises and making the startup ecosystem more robust. It has become a movement being taken forward by the people themselves. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is in line with the aspiration to shape a new India by the year 2022 when our country turns 75. This will be a significant milestone in the journey of the nation as we are determined to achieve major goals, from providing Pakka houses with basic facilities for every family to doubling the income of farmers. In order to build an inclusive society of New India, we are giving special emphasis on education, health, nutrition, upliftment of the underprivileged and welfare of women. Adversity often plays the role of a great teacher. It makes us stronger and more confident. With that confidence, India has taken great strides in several sectors. Economic reforms have continued apace and have been supplemented by long pending reforms in the areas of labor and agriculture through legislation. The path to reform at the initial stages may cause misapprehensions. However, it is beyond doubt that the government remains singularly devoted to farmers' welfare. Equally salient but touching more lives directly is the comprehensive reform in education which was long overdue. The National Education Policy 2020, with its stress on tradition as well as technology, will lay the foundation of a new India which aspires to emerge as a knowledge hub on the international stage. This reform promises to incubate innate talents of students and ignite their minds to take up the challenges of life. The net outcome of these efforts is before us. After about a year of this unforeseen ordeal, India today stands not despondent but confident. The slowdown has turned out to be transitory as the economy has regained its dynamism. A self-reliant India has manufactured its own vaccine for COVID-19 and is now undertaking a mass vaccination drive, which will be the largest exercise of its kind in history. The administration and health services are working with full readiness to make this exercise a success. I urge upon the countrymen to utilize this lifeline and get vaccinated as per guidelines. Your health opens the way for your advancement. Today, India is being rightly called pharmacy of the world. as we are supplying medicines and other healthcare items to several countries to alleviate people's suffering and contain the pandemic across the globe. Now we also provide vaccines to other countries. Dear fellow citizens, the past year was a time of adversity, and it came from many fronts. We faced an expansionist move on our borders, but our valiant soldiers foiled it. To achieve this objective, 20 of them had to lay down their lives. The nation shall remain grateful to those brave soldiers. Though we reiterate our commitment to peace, our defense forces, Army, Air Force, and Navy are adequately mobilized in a well-coordinated move to thwart any attempt to undermine our security. Our national interest will be protected at all costs. We have also ensured a widespread understanding in the international community of India's firm and principled stand. India is moving forward and taking its rightful place in the world. During the recent years, its arc of influence has been expanding and encompassing the larger part of the world. The manner in which India got overwhelming support of the international community for its entry as non-permanent member in the Security Council this year is indicative of that influence. The quality of our engagement with leaders across the world has enhanced manifold. India, with its vibrant democracy, has rightfully earned its respect as a responsible and trustworthy nation. We would do well to keep reminding ourselves of our constitutional mantras. I have said this before, but I will repeat that we should make it a part of our daily routine to meditate upon the life and thought of our father of the nation. We must make all efforts to wipe tears from every eye. Equality is the watchword for the great project of our republic. Social equality warrants dignity for each one of us. Villagers, women, weaker sections of our society, namely scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, Divyangjan and the elderly people. Economic equality entails equal opportunity for all and hand-holding for the downtrodden. Acts of helping fellow human beings expand our capacity for empathy. In our collective path ahead, fraternity is our moral compass. Let us all continue on the path of constitutional morality, which Baba Saheb Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar mentioned in his speech to the Constituent Assembly on November 4, 1948, while presenting the draft of the Constitution. He clarified that constitutional morality means supremacy of the values enshrined in the Constitution. Dear fellow citizens, as we are set to celebrate the anniversary of our republic, I am thinking of our brothers and sisters abroad. Our diaspora is our pride. Indians abroad have succeeded in different walks of life, some rising to high levels of political leadership, some contributing to science, arts, academics, civil society, and business, each bringing laurels to its new homelands and also to India. Republic Day greetings to you from the land of your ancestors. My greetings to the members of the armed forces, paramilitary forces, and the police who usually celebrate festivals staying away from their families. My special greetings to all those जवान्स. मैं एक बार फिर आप सभी देशवासियों को गणतंत्र दिवस की शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ. I once again congratulate you all for the Republic Day. Thank you. Jai Hind. Dear friends, on the occasion of the Republic Day of India, I extend my greetings to all Indians in Kuwait. Let's join our 1.3 billion brothers and sisters in India and millions of Indian diaspora abroad and billions of our friends across the world to celebrate this occasion. Let me begin by thanking His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait, and His Highness Sheikh Mashal Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince, for hosting the large Indian community in Kuwait. I thank the government and the State of Kuwait and Kuwaiti Friends of India for their efforts and support in further strengthening our deep-rooted and multifaceted bilateral relations. Let me join our Honorable Rashtrapati and the entire nation in paying homage to our soldiers who lost their lives protecting our borders and fighting cross-border terrorism. I also convey my heartfelt condolences to the families of those who lost their dear ones in Kuwait, in India, and across the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Dear friends, we in the embassy are fully conscious of the fact that some of our brothers and sisters continue to face unprecedentedly difficult situation today due to COVID-19 pandemic. I thank the many community members and various associations who individually and in collaboration with the Indian Community Support Group ICSG took several steps to help our brothers and sisters in need during the most difficult days of the pandemic. I salute our doctors, nurses, and medical professionals who made many sacrifices here and all across the world to save lives. I commend our students, schools, teachers, and parents in facing the challenges of COVID-19 with determination and adapting to the way education is now being digitally administered. I also thank our media friends who helped us to reach out to the Indian community in Kuwait and also to our Kuwaiti friends. As Honorable Rashtrapati said in his address to the nation, during the crisis, we have seen how ordinary citizens turned out to be extraordinary in facing challenges and helping each other. In Kuwait, we have seen how hundreds of associations and groups, small and big, came together to help each other. The crisis is still not over. We in the embassy will continue to work with the community to address the myriad of challenges faced by our community and also to spread the message to our people not to panic, to remain calm and confident. Here in Kuwait, we have enough support and resources to ensure that no Indian goes hungry or remain unattended. We will continue to improve the consular services of the mission and keep its activities transparent. Let me reiterate, embassy is home away from home, and its doors remain open for all those who need love and support. Dear friends, I am happy to note that the Embassy Diaspora Partnership in Kuwait has been contributing significantly in each of the major elements that Honorable Rashtrapati ji mentioned in his remarks today. In partnership with our Kuwaiti friends, we have been organizing a series of unprecedented outreach efforts and business promotion events in supporting Atmanirbhar Bharat Self-Reliant India mission that Honorable Prime Minister launched last year. I recall the address to our diaspora by Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan, on Atmanirbhar Bharat, and on our education policy by Honorable Minister of Education, Sri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank last week. Despite the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic, we celebrated every Indian festival here. We together remembered and paid homage to every Indian hero. I recall the National Youth Day celebrations when we unveiled the portrait of Swami Vivekananda in this auditorium and launched the annual Swami Vivekananda address. We celebrated the 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as Parikrama Divas. We also celebrated our national and state festivals, sharing sweets and greetings with all visitors to the embassy. In coming week and months, we will continue to celebrate virtually and in hybrid format, commemorating the 60th anniversary of our establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Kuwait, and also the 75th anniversary of our independence. Together, we will celebrate India every day, everywhere, with everyone, while strictly adhering to the laws and traditions of our host country. Dear friends, it's a matter of great pride to each of one of us to see how our motherland has emerged as the pharmacy of the world in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic at home and in helping several countries by supplying medicines and other healthcare items. India has not only developed its own indigenous vaccine but also supplied vaccines to several countries, including most of our neighbors and in countries as far as Brazil. This is reflective of the economic and scientific transformation that India witnessed in recent years. Dear friends, we value our partnership with the state of Kuwait. Kuwait is a key partner in our extended neighborhood. We will continue to work with all stakeholders to strengthen our partnership with Kuwait for the prosperity and well-being of the people of our two countries. We will not let 2021 be a zero year for building our partnership. We will endeavor to make it a vibrant year of activities in partnership with our Indian community and Kuwait friends. We will continue to take every step possible to strengthen the partnership of New India with New Kuwait in collaboration with our friends and well-wishers. Once again, I wish you a very happy Republic Day. I look forward to seeing you all again tonight at 6 p.m. for a patriotic song musical evening in the virtual format. I assure you it will be a memorable evening for all of us. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. With this, we come to the end of the virtual program this morning. We look forward to welcoming you again for the musical evening planned specially for you all at 6 p.m. tonight. On behalf of the Embassy of India, Kuwait, I thank each one of you gathered here, as well as all our virtual guests. Thank you and have a good day. Jai Hind.